I want to show you a calculation that explains why the middle class is being liquidated in 2026. Take your annual savings and divide it by 365. For most, it's $0 to $20. For the elite, it's $100 to $500. Saving $3,650 a year sounds impossible, but $100 a day is a tactical target. In this video, we deploy a 5-step, 23-minute daily protocol covering tactical surveillance, wealth capture, and cognitive armament to defend your capital against predatory algorithms. By the end, you will possess an automated system that makes staying poor mathematically impossible, shifting your identity from prey to the architect of your own empire. Before we deploy the protocol, what is the number one financial leak or debt trap bleeding your accounts dry right now? Tell me below. Law 1, the tactical surveillance maneuver. The average person treats their bank account like a crime scene. They are terrified to look at the evidence. They wait until the end of the month, or worse, until a card is declined to face their reality. This avoidance is a neurological death spiral. When you avoid the numbers grow teeth. The builders do the opposite. We use the morning money minute. This is not about budgeting, it is about tactical awareness. Within 60 seconds of waking up, you will look at 3 specific pillars: your liquid cash, your total liabilities, and your invested capital. Do not judge, do not panic, simply witness. In the high-stakes world of Wall Street, traders do not look at their screens once a month. They live in the data. By looking at your numbers every morning, you are forcing your subconscious brain to recognize that your financial life is a priority. You are anchoring your identity in reality. When you see that total debt figure at 7:00 a.m., your brain creates a psychological barrier against the impulse purchase at 12:00 p.m. The villain here is the dopamine trap of 2026. Everything around you is designed to make spending invisible. One-click checkouts, biometric payments, and buy now pay later schemes are engineered to bypass your rational mind. The morning money minute reinserts a blade of consciousness into that process. It turns the abstract into the tangible. The avoidance pattern is the signature of the victim. They don't want to see the numbers because the numbers cause stress, but avoidance enables the very behaviors that make the numbers worse. The debt grows larger, the savings stay stagnant. The stress increases, the avoidance deepens. The morning money minute breaks this cycle by normalizing financial awareness. After a few weeks of daily observation, the numbers lose their emotional charge. They become information rather than judgment. This emotional neutrality enables clear thinking about financial decisions throughout the day. Start tomorrow morning. 60 seconds, 3 numbers. No analysis required. Just look. Look at your current daily habits. Are you behaving like a victim of the economy or the master of it? If you believe you are part of the 1% who will thrive in the next decade, type "I am elite" in the comments to signal your commitment. Law 2. Capital interception and the sovereignty. Damn. Most people are told to save what is left over at the end of the month. This is a lie designed to keep you broke. In a world of infinite temptations, there is never anything left over. The system is designed to consume every cent you leave unprotected. You must implement the 24-hour wealth capture. Think of your income as a river. Most people let the river flow straight into the ocean of the corporations. You must build a dam, a daily dam. Instead of a $500 monthly transfer, which feels like a painful amputation, you will set up a daily automated transfer of a smaller amount. Let us look at the psychology. A $15 daily transfer is invisible to your lifestyle, but it is a massive signal to your brain. You are paying yourself first every single time the sun rises. Over a month, that is $450. Over a year, that is $5,475. But the magic is not just in the math, it is in the removal of friction. A monthly transfer of $300 feels like a significant event. It creates a noticeable dip in your checking balance. It triggers loss aversion and sometimes gets skipped when the month feels tight. A daily transfer of $10 feels almost invisible. Your checking balance barely moves. The loss aversion trigger does not fire. The transfer happens automatically without emotional resistance. By 2026, banking technology has made this effortless. You are no longer fighting your own willpower. You are leveraging the same automation that the big banks use to charge you fees, but you are using it to build your fortress. You are creating a feedback loop of winning. Every day you see that capture account grow, you are receiving a hit of productive dopamine. You are winning 365 times a year, while the average person only tries to win 12 times. Law 3. The sunset spending audit. If the morning is for surveillance, the evening is for the post-game analysis. The sunset spending review takes exactly 120 seconds. Open your transactions from the last 14 hours. You must categorize every cent into two buckets, intentional versus reactive. Intentional spending is a strategic investment in your life or your business. Reactive spending is a leak. It is the coffee you bought because you were bored. It is the subscription you forgot to cancel. It is the dopamine hit you chased because you had a bad meeting. The average person lives in a state of financial amnesia. They spend $100 today, and by Friday, they cannot remember where it went. This amnesia is exactly how the system keeps you on the treadmill. When you review a month of transactions, you can remember why you bought most things. When you review today's transactions, you remember exactly what you were feeling when you made each purchase. The reactive spending patterns become obvious within a week or two of daily review. Maybe you spend reactively when stressed at work. Maybe you spend reactively when bored in the evening. Maybe you spend reactively after social media exposure. The triggers reveal themselves through daily observation. Once you name the demon, you have power over it. This is not about being cheap. The elite spend millions, but they spend intentionally. They do not leak. By doing this daily, you are training your brain to recognize reactive triggers in real time. Eventually, you will be at the checkout counter and your brain will scream reactive before you even swipe the card. That is the moment you have won. We all have that one financial mistake or that one category where we leak money out of insecurity or boredom. What is the one thing you have been overspending on just to feel better? Share it below, let it go. This is a safe space for the builders to recalibrate. Law 4. Cognitive armament. The 15-minute upgrade in 2026. Your income is a direct reflection of your rarity. If what you do can be replaced by an AI prompt or a cheaper worker in another country, you are a commodity. Commodities are always priced at the bottom. You must spend 15 minutes every single day weaponizing your mind. This is not casual reading. This is deliberate skill acquisition. In the current economy, 15 minutes of learning is not about personal growth. It is about avoiding obsolescence. Consider a rare skill for 2026 financial prompt engineering. The average person uses AI to write emails. The builder uses 15 minutes a day to learn how to prompt an LLM to scrape 10K filings and to analyze the hidden debt structures of a company that the general market hasn't priced in yet. Or perhaps you spend those 15 minutes mastering AI risk mitigation for your business, learning how to protect your proprietary data from the very models everyone else is using. This is the difference between a victim of technology and a commander of it. While the average person spends their commute listening to gossip or low-level music, you are building a competitive advantage that no market crash can take away from you. Think of this as your personal R&D department. The most successful CEOs in the world spend roughly 20% of their time learning. Why? Because they know that one single insight can be worth $10 million. Your 15 minutes is not an expensive time, it is the highest yielding investment in your portfolio. If you stop learning, you stop earning. It is that simple. 15 minutes daily compounds into over 90 hours annually of skill development. The income trajectories of the daily learner and the non-learner diverge dramatically. The daily learner qualifies for promotions, commands higher salaries, and adapts to industry changes. The non-learner stagnates and watches their relative value decline. Law 5. The preemptive strike tomorrow. Optimization. The final habit is the tomorrow optimization. Before you sleep, you spend 3 minutes mapping the financial battlefield of the next day. Where will the traps be? Do you have a lunch meeting where you might be tempted to overspend? Do you have a gap in your schedule where you might fall into a scrolling trap on a shopping app? Specify exactly when you will do your 15 minutes of learning and exactly what topic you will tackle. This leverages a psychological principle called implementation intentions. Research consistently shows that people who specify when, where, and how they will perform a behavior are 300% more likely to follow through than people who simply intend to do something. The specificity transforms abstract goals into concrete plans. Your brain knows exactly what to do when tomorrow arrives. Decision fatigue gets reduced because the decisions were already made the night before. 3 minutes of evening planning can save hours of decision-making and prevent hundreds of dollars in reactive spending throughout the month. The leverage on this small-time investment is extraordinary. When these 5 habits collide, you create what we call a wealth singularity. 1 minute of morning surveillance creates awareness. 2 minutes of daily capture creates capital. 2 minutes of sunset review stops the leaks. 15 minutes of learning increases your value. 3 minutes of evening planning ensures the cycle repeats. Total time 23 minutes. The result, absolute financial dominance. Let us look at the sovereignty timeline, the math of the 1%. If you start by capturing just $20 a day, you are putting $7,300 a year into the engine. At a 7% average return, that grows to approximately $34,000 by year 5. By year 10, it has grown to $82,000. By year 20, you have captured $24,000. But that is the floor. If you increase your daily capture as your income grows through your learning habit, the numbers become exponential. Starting at $15 and increasing by just $5 annually would lead to capturing over $4,000 in 20 years. These numbers assume nothing exceptional happens. No inheritance, no lottery, just consistent daily capture. The mundane daily habit produces extraordinary long-term results. The learning habit compounds separately but equally powerfully. 15 minutes daily across 20 years represents over 1,800 hours of skill development. That is roughly equivalent to a full year of additional elite education spread across your working life. The income impact of this accumulated learning could easily double the financial numbers above. The spending awareness from daily review saves money that also compounds. If the sunset review and tomorrow optimization prevent just $10 of reactive spending daily, that is another $36.50 annually that can flow into wealth capture. Over 20 years, that prevented spending alone could account for over $15,000 in additional wealth. Add these streams together and the daily habit system can realistically produce $500,000 to $1 million in wealth accumulation for someone starting with an average income. There is a deeper transformation that happens beyond just the numbers. People who implement daily financial habits develop an identity as a builder. This identity shift matters more than any specific tactic because identity drives behavior automatically. When someone identifies as a wealth builder, spending decisions become easier. The question isn't, can I afford this, but does this align with who I am? The wealth builder identity makes frugality feel natural rather than restrictive. It makes investing feel exciting rather than deferred gratification. It makes financial progress feel inevitable. This identity formation happens through daily action. After 100 days of these habits, you are no longer someone trying to build wealth. You are someone who builds wealth. Technology in 2026 has removed nearly all friction from the daily habits I've described. Automatic transfers happen instantly. Banking apps show balances in seconds. Learning resources are abundant. 20 years ago, implementing these daily habits would have required manual bank visits, paper tracking, and physical planners. Today, the only friction is psychological. The habits themselves take less than half an hour combined. The other factor making this moment unique is economic uncertainty. Market volatility and AI disruption make the future feel less predictable. Daily habits provide resilience against uncertainty in ways that point-in-time planning cannot. Someone with strong daily wealth-building habits adapts to changing circumstances automatically. Monthly budgets become obsolete when circumstances change. Daily habits persist because they respond to current reality rather than projecting future certainty. We have covered the mechanics, but now we must discuss the soul of wealth. True financial freedom is not about the number of zeros in your bank account. It is about the number of options you have when you wake up in the morning. It is the ability to say no to a toxic boss. It is the ability to provide for your family without checking the price tag. It is the sovereignty of your time. As for those of you still watching, I want to give you a final hard truth as a bonus. Your social circle is likely the biggest anchor holding you back from these habits. When you start doing the morning money minute or skipping the reactive happy hour, your friends will call you obsessed or boring. They will try to pull you back into the crab bucket because your progress shines a light on their stagnation. The price of the 1% lifestyle is the temporary discomfort of being misunderstood by the 99%. If you want what they don't have, you must be willing to do what they want to do. If you have stayed until the end, it means you are not looking for a shortcut. You are looking for the path. To prove you are ready to walk it, I want you to comment the secret password below. I am the architect. This tells me you have the focus required to join the builders. Now take the first step, right now. Do not wait for Monday. Set an alarm for tomorrow morning at 6:00 a.m. and label it Money Minute. That is your first act of rebellion against the system. Like this video if it challenged your perspective. Share it with one person who has the potential to be a visionary but is currently stuck in the reactive loop. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay plugged into the high-frequency intelligence of channel. There is another video on your screen right now that dives deeper into the specific investment vehicles of 2026. Click it and continue your education. The clock is ticking. Your future self is either thanking you or blaming you for what you do in the next 5 minutes. Build your empire, 1 minute at a time.